Just being an artist in general, it's so easy to be influenced by what's trending,
Mm.
what's hot. The thing that drew me into DSM is like one product in particular. You guys did a Sherper white biker jacket,
Mm.
which was different. You can't really find that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And it's like always those key pieces that I like from DSM. So, what makes you, in your creative process, like, let me throw this in here instead of like, going with the look that all these brands are doing.
I mean, for me, I've always tried to not play into trends just because I think if you could put a timeline of product that I've designed over the last decade, all of them could probably still work in today's like
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
world. Um and that's why I mean, and I wouldn't even say that that's the reason why, but I've never wanted to play into trends because I've wanted that like that longevity to where you have this t-shirt that I sold you in 2014 and you still pull it out in 2024.
Yeah.
I think to your point about the jacket, another thing that you would probably see like a common thread is I've always tried to apply different fabrications to pieces that you don't usually see. So like one of the first was a neoprene bomber jacket. This was, I don't know, 2014. Nobody was doing neoprene at that point. Then Alexander Wang, and if, I won't say that they saw me and did it, but we've always kind of been right uh, right in front of the wave,
Yeah.
which always isn't always like the best place to be because if you're too early, you miss the wave.
Yeah.
So that timing is hard to pick out because you never really know when something's gonna hit. But yeah, we've had a ton of those products that have been just right in front of the curve. But I think it just comes from not wanting to like even now, like if I see that if I'm working on something and then somebody else does it and I don't feel like mine brings anything new into the world, it's like, why even there's enough trash out here already. Like we don't need another
Yeah.
we don't need a like if he's doing it, like I don't need to do it too. Like I'll just shift and do something different. So I think that mindset of is this is this the most creative I can be with this piece? And am I bringing something new to the world? I think that's usually the angle that I approach it with. And sometimes it's received that way, and then sometimes it isn't. But um, I think that very early on, we didn't have the means to because you asked this off camera about outerwear and the jackets, and early on, like we didn't have the capital to sample these jackets and go into production on them and hit minimums and things like that. So as the brand grows, obviously, and the bank account like comes with it, you're like, okay, now we can spend a little bit more here on development, and
Yeah.
we can be a little bit more experiential and experiment with different pieces and see what works. And we have really good relationships with our factories to where we don't have to like I don't have to make 10,000 of something. Like
Right.
I can try something super wild. I kind of have looked at things recently as from like a pyramid where it's like you have your base, that's your bread and butter, that's your t-shirts, your hoodies, your things like that. Then you have the middle of the pyramid is like stuff that's a little bit more elevated, and then the very top is like the wildest. Like that's the stuff that you're going to sell the least of, but that's your marketing piece. That's the piece that's going to get people talking about the collection, and you may only sell one of them, but every the way we put collections together is very much a story, and there's a lot of pieces that make the story that aren't the stars of the show, but they are an important role player. So I try to make sure that I'm staying true to the story I wanted to
Yeah.
tell.